Welcome, mommies, to day two. We hope you took time yesterday just to celebrate yourself, whether big or small. We talked a lot about just realization and realizing like how you talk to yourself. We really want you to get in the habit of making that talk positive because it makes such a difference. And when we talk about realization and just realizing where you're at and how you talk to yourself, it's very surface level. And of course, it makes a difference to recognize those things, but we want to dig a little bit deeper because when we realize why we think that way, it's going to make it a lot easier to change it. So, day two is all about freedom from your limiting beliefs. So, if you ever find yourself saying these things, you're not alone. I think all mommies have had these things cross their minds. I think the number one thing that we tell ourselves is that we don't have enough time. We always feel like we're racing against the clock. We don't have enough time to take care of ourselves. We don't have enough time to do all the things that we wanted to do as moms for our kids. And we just always feel like it's a race against time and that we can't do anything for ourselves, which obviously makes you feel like the bottom of the barrel. And the other thing that we find that we tell ourselves is like we don't know how to manage our priorities either. I was talking to a mama yesterday who said, you know what, I feel like I worked all day, but at the end of the day, I didn't get anything done. And I'm sure that's crossed your mind too, because I know it's crossed mine, where you feel like all day you were busy. You were busy doing all these things all day, but you sit back at the end of the day and you're like, what did I even do? Because you feel like you didn't get anything done, and then you feel like you didn't accomplish anything at the end of the day. So obviously it makes it a little bit harder for you to celebrate yourself when you're not able to kind of manage your priorities and really focus on one thing. So there's a couple other things. I'll let Vanessa jump into them.
And most of the time, we feel like we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Like it's always me, especially when it comes to your children. Like, mom, where's my jacket? Where are my shoes, my socks, and everything? And you're like, hello, you have your dad here. Have you met your dad? This is your dad. Introduce yourself, please, because you got to help me out here. And most of the time you feel like it's always on you, right? You have that feeling like, why do I have to do everything? And last, I've interviewed a lot of moms, and not one single mom ever told me that they are enough. They always feel, I am not good enough. Like there's something in me that's missing. And I think that insecurity, like when they look at other mamas, like, oh, how come they know how to do this? They are so crafty and I'm not crafty. They're good at doing makeup and I can't do it, right? There's always something in us that's missing and we feel we are not good enough. Now let's go on the next slide and see how we can work on that. Hooray. Yes, let's move forward and focus on the outcome. How do we do that, Diana? Let's tell them.
So this, I think, is a beautiful thing about your mama story and what we've created here, because I'm so tired of like hearing these things. Like I would voice my concerns, like, I don't have time. I can't, I'm not getting anything done. And people would just tell me that it's okay.
It's okay.
Your kids are going to grow. It's okay. You're going to miss this later. But that does not allow you to fully enjoy the moment right now. Like as moms, we should not be told to put our lives on hold until our kids are older. Like that is not fair to us. It's not fair to our kids. I don't want my kids to ever look back and think like mommy couldn't fully live her life because of me.
That's true.
So when we look at these things that we think are holding us back from living the happiest, fullest life, we need to recognize them, like we recognize our limiting beliefs, and then we need to find a solution so that we can move forward. So that's what we're here for, because we're not going to tell you that you're going to miss this. We're not going to tell you to wait it out, because that is not the solution. So the solution to I do not have more time, for me, and I know for Vanessa, that's worked for us, is just to give value to the time that you have. Because you would be very surprised at what you're spending time on when you really choose to pay attention to it. So I treat my 24 hours like a bank account, because you're withdrawing time every single time you do something. Like if I'm spending an hour looking at other moms on Instagram, that's an hour taken out of my bank account that I'm never going to get back. So we need to make sure that the things that we're spending time on are worth withdrawing for, because you'd be surprised. I know you hear it from other people, and maybe it triggers you when they say that we all have the same 24 hours, because you're in like that victim mindset of being a mom and like, you don't know how busy I am. You don't understand. But when I actually look at my screen time and like the things that I'm paying attention to, there's a lot of time wasted there, which now I've shifted into doing things like this, which
Yeah.
give value to that time, you know? So I'm not going to sit here and tell you how to spend your time, but when you pay attention to the time that you have, you'll realize that there's better ways of spending that time. So that's my tip for it. I don't know if you have something to add to it,
And
but
do it one step at a time. Like you're not going to be like changing, okay, I'm not going to do games. I'm not going to be looking at Instagram like the entire
like
day.
cut it out forever.
Yes, you have to like it's a change of habits too, so that
Yeah.
you can give value to your time because your time is already needed by your children, right? That's why you feel I'm so drained after that. You feel like, oh, I breastfed my baby. I was like there for 30 minutes. Now I just want to relax my brain and just please like do nothing.
Yeah.
But if you know that your time is important, then learn something new. And you know that that little girl inside of you will scream and say, yay, I did something for myself. I
Yeah.
added value to my time. I added value to me.
Yeah. And I know that like when you are spending time like watching TV or scrolling the internet, a lot of people feel like that's time to relax, but it actually doesn't really relax you. So what I do is I use that time now to like read a book or like play with my kids. And that always makes me feel infinitely better than looking at other people's lives on Instagram. So it's just a little tip. Obviously, everything in moderation. We still watch TV, we still scroll the internet and stuff. I just don't do it for like 3 hours a day anymore because it's like such a waste of my time because I want to put it into things that I'm passionate about that make me feel better at the end of the day. So that kind of leads into just picking a priority because we've all been there where you feel like all day, like from the time that we drop our kids off at school to the time that they get picked up, I feel like I'm doing so many things. But then,
You're like under their time, right? You're under
yeah.
their
And
radar.
then, like, I pick them up. I'm like, what did I do with that 6 hours of time? Because you're kind of dabbling in everything and you want to be able to just pick one or two things and like make it happen and commit to it. Like, if you feel like you're going to keep your house sparkling clean every single day, like maybe that's not a realistic priority. And you say, like, you know, I'm going to clean on Monday while they're at school and I'm going to clean on Thursday while they're at school. Then you can actually focus on getting it done instead of feeling like you need to do every single thing every single day. Cause then it's not going to get done and you're going to feel like you didn't do anything, which then just leads you to feeling like you're not enough at the end of the day.
That's true.
I don't know if you have tips for being able to like prioritize and get stuff done, but that's something that I do now is like I just pick certain days that I'm going to do certain things and
Yeah.
then try and focus on it so that I feel a little bit more accomplished by the times that I have to get them.
And for me, if you want to start out something like a small business or you want to bake, you want to do something, do it one step at a time. Like progress over perfection, right? Make sure that you do one progress. Okay, I want to learn something new. So turn on your computer, it's right there. And I learned like a lot of people, I was watching something and then this guy said, if you can't make it happen now, and you're always saying that, oh, I can't do a business, I can't open this, I can't do that. The internet is right there. All you got to do is just turn it on and you'll learn everything that you can right there, right? So when you choose a priority, work on the progress that you're making towards that priority. It's not going to happen in one day. It's not like, boom, next day you have a business already and you're making money. No, it's one step at a time. And then the progress starts now.
Yeah. And I always tell people like, if you take 2 steps forward and 1 step back, you're still ahead. You know, it's always better than not taking any steps at all. So it's just something where like, that's the Google it thing is something that I live by too, because they're like, everything is learnable.
Yes.
Everything is learnable. It's just what you choose to prioritize.
And remember that doing everything on your own doesn't make you stronger, right? You don't have to do everything. That's why you feel everything's on my shoulder because your husband at home, he tells you, okay, do you have to shower the kid? And he'll wait for you to get home to shower the kid. Well, you can say, come on, how about you do it? And at the end of the day, you feel like, oh, I had enough. I'm right here. I'm doing everything. But if you know that you can't do it, you can say, hey, husband, you can do it. Or hey, child, you know that you can shower yourself. You know that you can pick your toys up and we can move on and everything's done. Right?
Yeah. And I think we talked about before too, like with relationships, and that's something that we'll dig into deeper later, but just doing it in a respectful way, because I think everybody wants, you're a family, you want to help each other out,
Yeah.
right? But there's a very big difference in saying, like, you know what, I've had a long day. I know that you went to work too, but it would really, like, I would appreciate it if you could give the kids a shower instead of being like, I was home all day and you didn't have to deal with them and I want you to shower them. Like, there is no need to cross that line of respect with your spouse. It doesn't do anybody any good. And I know we talked about this before, because I think it's really easy, because when you are doing everything and you feel like you're drowning, and by the time your husband gets home and you've had it up to here, it's usually the
Yeah.
first person you take it out on. But when you are asking for help, or when somebody's offering help to you and you're at this level of like just frustration, it's going to come out the wrong way. So it's good to just take a step back and see it for what it is. These people are here to help you. You
Yeah.
just have to accept the help, but like in a loving way, because it all comes from love, right? Like, you all want the best for the kids. You all want the best for each other. So asking each other for help should not be a hard thing to do, and it doesn't make you any weaker. So
And even you're a mom, you can ask your children for
Mhm.
help. They will. They're more than willing to help. And because sometimes it's their comfort zone too, right? At the
Mhm.
house. So when you ask them for help, they're like, "No, mama, you can do it." So you had to remind them, you know, in this house, we help each other. That's a constant reminder that we had to give them, right?
Yeah.
And lastly, believe in your own abilities, your super mama power. You have all the power and the strength in you, the power to be the type of a leader mama that you want to be, not a bossy mama. You want to lead your family. You lead them what to do, scheduling and everything. It's all up to you. It's all in your hands and how you play your cards, right? What's your super mama power, Diana, that you want to share to the mamas?
I think that I'm like a multitasking queen, because I was telling Vanessa, I was talking to my friend yesterday, and I was like standing in the kitchen, one foot up on like the drawer handle, one leg holding my baby. She's on my boob. I'm eating a donut. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm eating. Because a lot of moms, like, they're like, I don't have time to eat during the day, but I found a way to make it work, because I use my hands, I use my legs. Like, we are just so good at, we don't even second guess it.
Yeah.
We just do it on the regular. So I like wipe a toddler's butt while holding the baby, while on the phone with my friend. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm sure you've done this too. And she's like, oh yeah, I have. And you just don't recognize it because it's so normal to you just to do. But I see those things as super mama powers, because I've never once seen my husband do that, because I
Yes.
don't think he could. So I'm like, that's a power that you have, right? The ability to do literally everything with one hand. It's amazing.
It's the talent that we learn because we spent so much time. That's why instead of using everything that we learn from our children as an excuse, like, oh, I don't have time. Oh, I can't do this. That super mama power that we have within us is something that we learn. Like, oh, because my hand is not mobile right now. So what do I do with the other hand? Like me, when I put my baby down right now, I do this weird yoga squat tilting position just so I can put her down, because she's
Yeah.
like a ticking time bomb, right? I'm like, I need to put you down because I have to work. I have to do things. And then I'm slowly moving myself, moving my boobs so that she won't feel it. Because once she shake her hand, she's up again. I'm gonna start another 30 minutes to do that, right? So I'm like, I was telling Diana, like, oh my gosh, it's just my leg that was supporting my whole body.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that. But
Just
when
that
I was doing
strength
yoga
inside you.
before, yeah, when I was doing yoga, look at there, that's me. Ashley's asking me to carry while I have Tiago in the middle. That we have that superpower. You
Yeah.
never thought you could do. Like, I can't do push-ups, but with my kids, I can carry too.
Yeah, with like 3 bags of groceries at the same time, because that's what I do all the time too. And I think it's crazy, because it goes back to day one and the way that we talk to ourselves, right? Because we always think negatively, but if we just focused on how much amazing strength that we have, like, I know a lot of people find that like when you're a mom, you have to give up all of these things because you have the kids. But like, I don't know about Vanessa, for me, like, I am so much more ambitious now that I have kids,
Yeah.
because I feel like I can do so much. Like, I've already gone through the worst. I've already gone through the craziest experience ever parenting 4 kids. Like, you want me to help you with this business? No problem. I
Yeah.
can do that because I have it in me to multitask, to organized because I have to organize the family. I have super strength. I can carry all the groceries by myself. Like, I feel like I can do anything because I've already done parenting. And that's how we want you to view motherhood,
Yes,
right? Like, don't you feel
exactly.
like you can do more and you're more ambitious now that you have kids and when you were single and had all the time in the world?
Yeah. I feel like every child that I have is like an upgrade for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You're
like when
leveling
I had
up.
I opened my first business, which is Hello Munchkins Play Cafe, a daycare center. And then second, when we had Tiago, my husband and I, we decided to move to Canada. And now third, my daughter Ilona decided that she want to be Canadian citizen, so she want to be here. Yeah. So your children actually create opportunities for you. Don't feel like they are the one who's like pulling you down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they needed your time, but if you just focus that little time for them, and they will free you in so many liberating ways. Your mind, your heart is full. Like if I talk to anyone right now, I'm so confident. Why? Because I'm better than I've ever been, you know, and I've learned so much from my children. So that's your super mama power. Do
Yeah.
not underestimate yourself, right?
I know we
How
were talking about before, like if we put all of this on a resume, like it would be so long. You know, if you went to a job interview and they're like, oh, you're just a stay-at-home mom. Yeah, but I have
oh,
all of these skills that I guarantee you people without children will not know how to do. Like,
exactly.
and it's amazing. So that's a big part of the message that we want to spread too, is we want you to really grab onto that superpower and use it in every single situation that you come to and realize that you have that crazy strength inside you to bring life into the world, to deal with the every single day chaos, and you're still standing. So you need to look at everything with
Yeah,
that power. Don't look at it as a weakness. Like that's your superpower, that you're able to be a mom. It's an amazing thing.
that's right.
So we have homework
Yes.
for
Oh, it went back. Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's celebrate you. Remember that every time we end our session, we always want to make it to a point that you celebrate you. This is about you. So challenge and compliment yourself. Celebrate that you are significant. It's not that you don't have time. You are important, not because you're busy, right? We always feel like, oh, I'm so busy, I'm important, right? Think of it. Ask yourself, how would you feel significant by not being busy? For me, is when my career is going, when I'm thinking about something that I'm passionate about, when I'm doing something, when I'm contributing to this society, that's when I feel the most significant. How about you? Take this time, ask yourself, write it down, because it's so important for you to reflect on that feeling. Because somewhere down the road, you lost that touch, you know, that thing, that fire feeling inside of you that ignites that fire that keeps you going. So go and ask yourself and celebrate your priorities. What can you say about that? Celebrate your priorities.
celebrate that you have all these things in your life too, right? Just to take care of, like having kids, like celebrate that
Yes.
that's something that you have in your life to do. It's an important job. Celebrate that there are business opportunities for you, because sometimes I feel overwhelmed because I have so many things on the go. But at the same time, I'm like, I'm so glad that I have these skills to do these things. And I celebrate that. So I'm like, you know, not everyone's in that position, or not everybody is like has worked on themselves enough to be open-minded to these things. And we have so much on the go, but we just celebrate the fact that this is available to us right now, you know, and celebrate all that you have going on in your life. And then we're going to talk about just celebrating that people love you. I know that
Yeah.
that's been a hard one for me to accept help, because you want to feel like I got this, you know, I don't need anyone's help, I'm a strong mom. But the fact that people are willing to help you, that's such a beautiful thing. You know, you want to celebrate the fact that people are there, they love you, they're willing to help you, and you have to accept the help, right?
Yes. And recognize that you're so lovable, right? People love you. They want to help you. It's because your children, they like your children too. And, you know, like they love being around you.
Yeah.
It's because that kind of vibe that you give them. So celebrate that.
Yeah,
Because
even with
sometimes,
your kids when they want to help with every single thing, and it's frustrating sometimes, but it's because they want to be with you or they want to
yeah,
help you, right? They want to take a load off of mommy's shoulders, and that's something to celebrate. I know sometimes it's like you're in the kitchen, you're trying to put together dinner, and they're like, let me help, let me do this, let me do that. And you're like, oh, so frustrating. But like if you sit there and that simple mindset shift of like they
Yeah.
want to help me because they want to spend time with me, they love me, they want to make it easier, or so they think. And
So
like,
they
well, they think because they're like, my daughter, she's older now. So she asked me one day when I was doing something, she's like, would it help if I helped or would it not
yeah,
help?
yeah,
And I was like, it wouldn't really help, but I really appreciate the gesture of like you
yeah.
wanting to help me. And it was really sweet that she wanted to help, but she knows it's not helpful if she helped.
Like when I'm in the bathroom and Tiago just always, because here our door, you can't lock it. You can lock it inside, but there's always like a safety lock, and he knows how to unlock it. He gets this bread knife and he just
Yeah, our
unlocks it,
kids do
right?
that too.
The kids do that too.
Yeah.
So you'll see it on the video that I'm gonna post. It's like he just opens the door and like, mommy, let's play, let's play. I'm like, honey, I'm sitting right here. But instead of like me getting angry, like, I need my privacy. I know that it's gone for this period of time until the time that Tiago knows how to, be
Yeah.
ashamed of something,
Yeah.
then he'll understand that. But what I did is I celebrated that he loves me. Like it doesn't matter what time of the day, he just want to play with me, even though he knows I'm in the bathroom. He doesn't care. He just wants to play with me.
Yeah.
So that's a big thing to celebrate. Now, this line, I love this so much. Celebrate that you can love yourself. Imagine the kind of love that you give to your children, the kind of love that you give to your partner, to your families, to your mom, to your dad. Why would you deny yourself that kind of love? Why, when it comes to you, you don't have that love? When people say, okay, do you want to have a business? Oh, I'm not good enough. I don't have that. But if you were talking to your daughter, imagine the advice that you will tell your daughter. Oh, you're amazing. You got it. You can do everything. You're so amazing. Go ahead and push for it. We're gonna make it happen. And you'll even try your very best to make sure that your daughter will make it happen, right? You'll arrange, you'll do everything. But when it comes to you, you're denying that love. I remember, Diana, you were telling me about imagine when you're giving advice, right? So try to give that same advice to yourself.
Yourself. Like if you're talking to your best friend or your
Yeah.
child or whatever, like you want to talk to yourself the way that you would encourage them, like the example that you just gave. If you're trying to encourage your child to do something,
Yeah.
right, you would always speak to them with love. But something that I learned early on too is that your children, they're not going to do what you tell them to do. They're going to do what you show them that you can do.
Exactly.
They follow by example, like I can tell them all I want to believe in themselves, to love themselves. But if they see mommy beating herself up and like not pursuing her dreams because, of them, they're not going to follow suit. You can tell them all you want, but the most powerful thing that you could do for your kids, if you want them to grow up loving themselves, is to love yourself first, because they will lead by example. And they know, they see me taking care of myself, and they know, and I can see it in them too. They kind of talk to themselves, they coach themselves, because that's the best thing that you can give them. Right?
And the
It
funny
starts
thing
with
about
you.
that is your partner will see that too. I remember one time Alfred was talking to Asti, like, you gotta be confident, Asti. Just like, look at mama. She doesn't let anyone like take her down, She won't be like, nah, she'll be like, hold on, this is where I stand. And she's like, you gotta keep your head up high. So when your partner talks to you in that way, you feel happy, because that's the vibe that you show people, and that's how they see you.
Yeah.
And
And it rubs off on everyone, and it like, it's going to change the way that you do everything. So that's the core of what we really want moms to know, is you have to love yourself first. We've all heard that quote, like you can't pour from an empty cup, but we go through all those limiting beliefs. I don't have time. I don't prioritize myself. I have to do everything. And that's why we feel like we can't love ourselves. But loving ourselves is not like going on spa dates and doing all this stuff, right? Loving ourselves is thinking about these limiting beliefs and just shifting our mindset as to how we make it work for ourselves, and how we set boundaries, and how we love ourselves. So it doesn't have to take you hours and hours a day of like sitting there meditating or going to the spa or painting your nails. Loving yourself is what we're going through. Even being here, you're loving yourself because you know that you can do better for yourself and be happier. And that's a big form of self-love.
So here's our quote of the day: shining your light doesn't dim anyone else's. It might just inspire them to shine theirs too. So we're always like, oh, I don't want the spotlight. I'm just going to sit back here. Oh, maybe they think I'm too much. Especially us, we were trained to keep our voice, to ourselves. Like, oh, you can't be too much. Oh my goodness, people will think you're so thick faced, right? We always think about what people would think, But what do you want to do? How do you celebrate yourself? So this brings back to celebrating you. Celebrate yourself, let your light shine. And that's how people will get from you. Like what Diana was saying, your children, you want them to be inspired by you, but not tarnished or it's not you who's going to bring them down. You are the one who's going to lift them up. Yeah, that's it for me.
Yeah, I think that's all that we have. I think this is very important, especially for moms, because we just have this tendency to put ourselves on the back burner and not want to shine. Like maybe we do have the time and we know our priorities are all messed up, but we don't want to rearrange them. We don't want to go after what we want to do because we're scared of what people will think. And we're scared of being too much. And we're scared of, all these things that we kind of fear. But I know, like, just from experience of like really coming out of my shell the last couple of years, that the lives that you will impact, the people that you will inspire, it is so worth it, even if one person is like, you're a little bit much, because you will love yourself so much that you're not even going to care. Because that's where I've gotten to now, where someone is like, you're so extra. You dress up just to drop your kids off at school. I'm like, yeah, because it makes me feel good. It has nothing to do with you. Yeah. And to get to that point of self-love where you don't even care anymore, it's so liberating. And it inspires other people to be like, wow, you really don't care. Like, no, I don't.
You just appreciate yourself. Them, right? Yeah, you just appreciate yourself and just validate yourself on your own. And when people appreciate it or not, it doesn't matter to you anymore. Because it's just extra.
It's just extra because I'm already okay. So we just want you to shine your light. Don't dim it. It doesn't do anybody any good. And just kind of follow that light. So I don't know if you have anything to add. I think that's all that we have for day 2. We just want to make sure that you're continuing to celebrate yourself.
Yeah, we did a longer talk on this because limiting beliefs is so deep. That's why we have courses later on for this, specializing on loving thyself and freeing thyself and appreciating thyself, because it's so important. Enjoy every word that we say. Thank you so much for your time today, mamas. We appreciate it.